Oh, Woody, and here again. Well, the other day I was listening to a particular podcast from a magazine I subscribe to. The magazine's called The Word magazine, and their podcast is very good. And I actually got a mention in this one because they often ask on Twitter for particular topics of conversation that they can talk about in the podcast, and I happened to suggest one. But one of the other things that came out during their sort of ramblings, I suppose, and it's great, it's sort of a few guys sitting around in a cupboard, basically an office cupboard type of thing, little spare room, talking about music and talking about rubbish and talking bollocks sometimes, which is great to listen to if the people know what they're talking about and they're interesting and they get guests in. But one of the things that they happened to say was that these days you just can't tell lies anymore. Not like you used to. People used to put out press releases, especially in the music world. I'm going on about music world again, but it could be anybody. It could be an actress, an actor, a director putting out a new film, or whatever it might be, some sort of celebrity, politician, anybody. It could be you or I if we're having an illicit affair with somebody or something like that and we happen to try and deny it. These days it's very hard to actually do that now because of this, partly because of the internet, partly because of social media and iPhones and smartphones and video cameras and everything, texting and Twitter and all those type of things. People get caught out so much more easily than they used to, and maybe this will change the nature of things now, because we've all seen it on the firestorms that come out. A politician or something comes out. There's a particular a Twitter account that I follow which is all about facts, and what it does, it picks up politicians or other people who put out pronouncements and statements and actually check the facts to these and then sort of tweet them again. Obviously that gets retweeted and it goes on and on and on. You can't tell lies, you can't fool people with lies, damn lies and statistics anymore. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but not anymore, or not very easily. But another thing that reminded me of this was a video that's doing the rounds at the moment, and I hadn't seen it until another video which I'll mention in a minute. It's just this guy in America who supposedly checks his daughter's Facebook account, or gets a Facebook message or something like that from his daughter, who's sort of rubbishing the parents and the standard of parenting and having a go at them. And what he does eventually is he's sitting there in a rocking chair or in a chair sort of reading through these statements, and eventually gets this girl's laptop, or supposedly her laptop, puts it on the floor and then shoots it with a .45 pistol, as they do over there in America, in an open space, and puts about 7 bullets into this laptop. This particular video now apparently has multiple millions of views, and obviously it's created its own type of firestorm. People for and against, about his parenting style, should he have done this, and all the ins and outs of what the daughter is supposedly supposed to have said. But there's another video doing the rounds of one of those old school vloggers from way back in 2006, a guy by the name of Gregg Solomon. And if you've ever seen, I'll put a link to the video below, if you've ever seen any of his videos, he's got a rather unique style, and love him or hate him, but bless him, he turns up every so often. But he's rubbish, this guy. And he's put lots of links, lots of very valid arguments, and he's said the links down below in his description about the particular guy. He obviously knows him in some way, completely rubbishing what this guy's done, and saying that he's done it purely for a bit of publicity. Obviously that publicity has gone far further than what he actually ever expected it to do, and so much so that he's now actually refusing to do any sort of media interviews, which he probably would have done at the beginning, because of the way that it's taken off. On another note on this, actually, on a particular site on Facebook for a local band that I follow, someone happened to mention this particular video, and it started once again a big huge comment rumpus and a firestorm of people, those sort of comments, for and against, is this good, is this bad. I happened to I thought, well, I didn't know about this until I happened to catch up with it yesterday, saw these sort of 40, 50 odd comments and people mudslinging with each other as they are wont to do, and swearing, and the sort of stuff, that hating and trolling and all this that goes on certain Facebook and internet sites generally. I actually put a link to the Gregg Solomon video, and then the person who runs that particular band's Facebook page said, yeah, I'd heard about that, Andy, and done a bit more research, and then there's something from the local police which tends to throw the original guy's story into doubt once more. But all very good illustrations that if you try and put something out there these days, the chances are you're going to get found out. Yes, we have people on here who project personas, but they're pretty straightforward. They're not necessarily telling lies. They're not bending the truth a little bit, but that's for entertainment purposes. So if you are out there, and if you think, especially if you're in the spotlight of the public eye for politicians, celebrities, or anything in that particular way, but even someone like you or me, pretty fairly insignificant people in our own ways, I suppose, you decide to try and tell a lie about something. There are so many people out there nowadays who've got so many different ways of actually finding out and exposing those particular lies. I can think of examples myself which won't mean anything to anybody out there, but they are warnings to everybody. So be careful out there. You can't tell lies anymore, regardless of what somebody says. And if you do and you manage not to get caught, the chances are you're quite possibly not on the social networks or whatever anyway. But that doesn't mean that somebody else won't spot it and put it up there. You just don't know that they spotted it. Anyway, a little word of warning for you. I'll leave it there. And none of what I told you is a lie. Honest. I'll see you later. Goodbye.